Hello there, folks. I'm Dan Brown from a sort of interesting life.com, and you're joining me as we take a nice little trip down the canal here. But more importantly, what this video is actually about is a rather random idea and completely different to many of my normal videos and Sunday chats, as this is just going to be a very quick short video of me telling one of my favourite stories from various Greek myths that I've recently rediscovered. And this is the sort of thing that I go around and tell everybody that I know, and basically tell this story over and over. And I thought, hang on, why on earth am I not telling this to the biggest audience that I could possibly have over on YouTube? So I suppose, without further ado, let's sit back and enjoy this nice little trip down the canal, just as a relaxing, nice, calming backdrop, and talk about the story of King Midas's ears. So, this is, it's, as with anything that is thousands of years old, basically, you can imagine that there's all sorts of different variations to this story and so on. So the version I'm about to tell you is my favourite version, that's made up of sort of the most frequent elements of the different tales and different versions of it. So please don't think that this is the absolute correct version, or that any other versions are 100% correct, because it just seems like it's totally up for debate depending on source to source. So, without further ado, like I say, this is only going to be a nice short video. So, I suppose, here is the story of King Midas's ears. The god Pan challenged Apollo to a music contest, believing that he was much greater a musician than Apollo, and the real nitty-gritty of this story comes after the actual contest, and I'm not going to hum any tunes for you to try and build the mood. So we'll just agree that they played some instruments and were judged, and Apollo was judged to be the winner. Now, the real important part of this story, and we'll get to why I love it towards the end, is that King Midas decided that he didn't agree with that judgment at all, and on hearing this, Apollo was outraged that he thought that Pan was a better musician for a start, and thought, well, he must have the ears of an ass, as in a donkey, of course. So, as a punishment for his insolence and for just the outrage of supporting somebody else over Apollo, Apollo then turns King Midas's ears into those of an ass. So he's got these big donkey ears on the side of his head, which he then has to wear hats and all the rest of it to keep it a secret because of the embarrassment and the shame of it all. And of course, it's easy to keep this secret if you're always wearing a hat. But the one person who knew the secret was, of course, his barber who had to cut his hair. And he was obviously sworn to secrecy. But with such a huge secret weighing on him, he couldn't contain himself. And in the great way that these Greek myths have these various twists and turns in them, to relieve himself of this burden, he goes out into a field and digs a hole, and then whispers the secret into this hole and buries it. So as time goes on and the world keeps spinning, eventually a load of reeds grow up over this hole, and of course they are then discovering this secret that's been buried there forever. And forevermore you may hear the reeds, whether you're at the riverbank or going about your daily life and just happen to see some blowing in the wind, you may hear them constantly whispering the secret, Midas has ass's ears. And that is why the reeds make such an odd sound with the wind blowing through them. They're constantly saying, Midas has ass's ears. And to me, that is just a beautiful little story. I absolutely love things like this that are based on giving the most sort of everyday and normal things a completely different backstory and meaning than just the wind blowing through the reeds. I just absolutely love things like this, and there's a lot of stuff in Tolkien and all sorts of other myths that explain different things, and there may be more of these videos as time comes along, but I just wanted to share that little story with you because, again, I just can't get enough of stuff like that, and it's something I really like about the Tolkien book, The Silmarillion, which is really the creation story of Middle-earth and the whole of the world that all the Lord of the Rings and everything's based in, as it gives loads of those sorts of ideas Anyway, on that note, I'm going to say I hope you've enjoyed this completely different video for a change. Hope you've enjoyed the little boat trip as well in the background. And as always, I'll say subscribe and check out my other videos for weekly boating videos, for all sorts of biking, walking, and just general scenery and outdoors. Feel free to add me on Facebook, add me on Twitter, or like the Facebook page for loads of boaty photos and updates from life afloat. And please do consider checking out my audiobook and my Kindle books. Just search Amazon for The Narrowboat Lad, or Audible, or iTunes, and you'll find goodness knows what, but somewhere you'll find them. Or alternatively, you can find links to everything just mentioned in the description below. Until the next time though, keep it myth-worthy, keep it boat-worthy, and of course, farewell.